Brenner to all troops. We've confirmed the location of the rebel base. The enemy is evacuating, and our orders are to ground their fleet. AT-ATs are en route to breach the base defenses. You will clear a path and escort 2 walkers in case of rebel rocket attacks. Protect them with your lives.
Hi everybody, I thought it would be worth revisiting Star Wars Battlefront 2 since its March 21st, 2018 update. Of course, we all remember the release of Battlefront 2, the absolute disaster it was for EA and DICE. On the face of it, the headline story was because they'd put a load of pay-to-win mechanics into the game. In effect, the progression of the game, how you got better in terms of your weapons and your gadgets and your abilities, was hidden behind this rather strange loot box mechanic. So normally what happens in first-person shooters ever since Modern Warfare 2 with Call of Duty was as you play and you level up, so every time you play you get more points. You can then unlock something, so it might be like a better rifle or a better scope, and it's all based on how the time you're playing for, and kind of related to the points you get depending on the game. So maybe if you get more kills you get more points, and then you might be able to say run faster or be more immune to bullets or something like that. In Call of Duty and games like Battlefield, it tends to be based around weapons and then perks as well. What they did with Battlefront 2 was that they kind of threw that away, and instead what would happen is you would earn points to get loot boxes, and then you'd open the loot boxes and you would get these things called star cards, and in the star cards you would then get upgrades for your weapons and your abilities for your different classes. So the progression in the game was based around randomness. It was really strange. Now, the problem with that was also that you could pay money to get loot boxes, and lots of the abilities you open up in these loot boxes on these star cards would actually make your character much better, and especially in the spaceships, your blasters would be more powerful, your shields would be more powerful. And so therefore, if you could put a lot of money into the game, which you'd paid a lot of money for in the first place anyway, might add, you would then, it would be easier for you to win. So it's pay to win. The other big problem was the fact that you'd paid you might have paid £60 for this game, and yet you would go in and all of the heroes that you wanted to play, like Luke and Darth Vader and all these special heroes, were all locked as well, so you had to play to unlock them. And it was like, well, wait, this is crazy. So people were not happy about that, and it was the whole idea of gambling in this game, pay to win and loot boxes and all this stuff, and it was the head, if you like, of a lot of discussion that's been going on with lots of games using loot boxes, and it was a PR disaster. And basically what they did was pretty quick after the game, I think even before the game went live, but after the first couple of betas, they pulled the ability to buy loot boxes out, and they said, no, we're going to fix this progression system. Now, the underlying fact though was that I don't think the actual gameplay in Battlefront 2 was that brilliant either, because I don't know about you, but I look for in a DICE game, I want Battlefield, I want Star Wars Battlefront, right? I want a nice simple game like Conquest. We have a big battlefield and we run around, say 32 players on each side, and we try and capture flags, and instead of having tanks and airplanes, we've got X-Wings and AT-ATs and AT-STs, going round. That's what I want from a Battlefront game. But it's not. The gameplay is based around Galactic Assault, which is a non-linear type of game, which is kind of what you're seeing now with this Hoth level, where one side is escorting the AT-ATs, one side is defending. And you've got to capture these points. If you're the attackers, if you're the defenders, you've got to fire at the AT-ATs, and then it goes back. It always goes one way. It can't go back. It always goes one way. And then when you're finished, you flip around normally, and then you play again as the other side. And they're all variations on that theme. There's none of the free-flowing battles that you get in Battlefield. And in fact, even in Battlefront 1, because in Battlefront 2, basically they introduced, if you'll know from Battlefield 1, they introduced the Frontlines mode. They didn't call it Frontlines mode, they called it somewhere else, where you would have capture points on a map, and you would move backwards and forwards on these capture points, and that was really good because it feels like a real battle, but you don't get that. And then you had Strike and Blast as well, which are smaller game modes. So my thoughts always were, with the first one, if putting the progression system to one side, the actual game, although it looks brilliant and sounds brilliant, the gameplay itself wasn't up to Battlefield standard. But they've done this update where they completely changed the progression system. Now it's linear. There's no pay to win. As you play the game, you earn skill points, which then allow you to unlock star cards, which then give you your abilities, and then you can upgrade your star card. So it's all based on earning points in the game by playing the game, and playing objectives and doing that sort of stuff. So I thought it would be a good time to go back and look at the game and think, right, is it worth buying now? Is it worth buying now? And as I say, actually playing it now, however, it does seem a little bit better than what I remember. So I guess they've probably done some balance changes and got the game running smoother. The gameplay you're seeing here is on Xbox One. And although there are plenty more maps now, we've still only got Galactic Conquest, which is 20 versus 20 and asymmetrical, like I said. We've got Starfighter Assault, which is the one where you fly around in X-Wings and TIE Fighters, Heroes versus Villains, and Strike, which is basically capture the flag, and you've got Blast, which is basically team deathmatch. So we've still only got those core games. So I'm still a little bit disappointed. I'm still looking for a free-flowing game mode, give me a Conquest, give me a Frontlines. Just give me nice, simple Rush, actually, from Battlefield. That would be cool. Now, I have to say, though, that the game really does look and it sounds great. It sounds like Star Wars. It looks like Star Wars. And especially when you play first person, it feels like Star Wars. And in Galactic Assault, you do occasionally get these Battlefield moments when everything's coming together. X-Wings and TIE Fighters are going over the top. You've got AT-ATs going along. And to be honest, even in Strike and Blast, the close quarters infantry fighting can be really good too. Now, here we have the buts. But the loading times are still awful. If you thought they were bad in Battlefield 1, they're just as bad in Battlefront 2. You still can't choose the maps you want to play. There's no server browser. So, for example, I've played this game for probably, I think it's 10 hours is the free go you get on with the EA Play on Xbox. And I haven't played the new map from The Last Jedi, that kind of white desert map. The thing that is absolutely amazing me, and I would love to talk to someone about DICE about this, is why is there no overall map to look at when you're in game? When you're playing like Hoth, you can't hit a button and then bring up the whole map that you're playing on to give you an idea of where the flanking routes are and how the battle's going. You can't. You have your mini-map, but you can't look at the whole thing. It was the same in Battlefront 1, and it's the same in Battlefront 2. Why on earth haven't they put the big map in? I don't know. It's crazy. As I said before, the gameplay, I find it's too linear. We're going from A to B to C, and there's no B to A. Give me Conquest from Battlefield. Give me Frontlines from Battlefield. Players, you'll see them spamming the combat roll. Get rid of the combat roll and just put in the ability to go prone. Let me be able to lie down. Anyway, let me do that. And also, there's way too much grenade spam as well. If you think Battlefield is bad, when you're in the inside areas in Battlefront 2, everything's going all over the place. Now, although they've unlocked the heroes like Vader or Luke for everybody now, you hardly ever get a chance to play them anyway, because when you get to the loading screen where you're spawning in, they're just gone. And also I still think they're too powerful. I think they spoiled the game a bit like the elites kind of do in Battlefield a lot of the time, because if you come up against one of the elites, if you come up against Vader, Yoda, Luke or Han Solo or something, as a normal character, you're basically shagged. That's it, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. In Battlefield, they get around it by the fact that you have your bayonet charge, so you can bayonet charge them and kill them straight away. But as far as I'm aware, there's no way to do them in Battlefront 2, which is a shame. And probably my biggest gripe with the maps, aside from the gameplay that you do, is that there's way too many indoor maps and indoor sections. You're fighting in space stations, you're fighting in caverns, you're fighting in buildings. Battlefront and Battlefield, to be honest, they're always best, I think, when they're outdoors. Like this map, when we're on Hoth in the outside section, when we're in the deserts of Tatooine, kind of when we're on the forests of Endor. Not when we're inside the Death Star or the other bases. you're running around. It's like playing locker on Battlefield 4 all the time. And okay, it's fun for a short time, but you want to be outside, being able to flank around and have aircraft flying overhead. Now Battlefront 1 mostly had really good outdoor maps, and that's what this game needs. I don't know why their game designers think, yeah, I tell you what, it'd be really fun if we fight inside a cavern which has got all these choke points and just grenades are being shot, and you just have people on either sides of doors blasting each other. So after all this moaning, Battlefront 2 for me still feels like an incomplete game. It's not all there. We haven't got the game modes we want, we haven't got the maps we want, and it's still a work in progress. Now DICE have said that they're committed to expanding this game. They're going to roll it out, so maybe they're going to be taking on like a Ubisoft kind of approach of taking the game like Ubisoft did with something like Rainbow Six Siege, and using it maybe as a bit of a platform over the next couple of years to expand it. Now I extremely doubt they will do too much, because EA are going to want Battlefront 3, aren't they, in 2 years time, or probably a year's time for now. So I don't know. However, and this is the big however, you can get Battlefront 2 really cheap every now and again in the sales now. So for example, right now you can get it in the PlayStation sale for £25 in the UK, which I think is a real bargain if you like Star Wars and you like the Battlefield type games. I mean, I haven't even talked about the campaign, which is, it gives you a few hours of fun. And I guess what I would say is, if you're looking for a game at the moment to fill some of your gaming time, say, you're getting a bit burnt out on Battlefield 1, we've been playing it for a long time, fantastic, but we're waiting for Battlefield 2018 or Battlefield V or Battlefield 5, whatever you're going to call it. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a good game to fill that gap, because you can use your game playing abilities from Battlefield in Battlefront and you will have a good time. Honestly, it is a great game. If, however, you haven't really got much gaming time and you're still playing Battlefield, you're still playing COD, you're still playing PUBG or whatever game it is, I don't think Battlefront 2 is good enough to replace things like Rainbow Six Siege or anything like that. It's not good enough. It's too arcadey. It's not complete enough. And in fact, if you've got Battlefront 1, Star Wars Battlefront 1, that is a great game. So that's kind of my conclusion. I was looking at it this morning, actually, at the sale at the PlayStation Store, and I was considering buying it, and I was thinking, yeah, I'll go for it. But then I thought about the games that I'm playing at the moment, which is a lot of PUBG, a lot of Rainbow Six Siege, a little bit of Battlefield. I've kind of gone off on Battlefield a little bit because I've played so much of it. And I actually thought, no, I haven't really got enough time. I'd rather put more time into learning Rainbow Six Siege and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds than trying to learn Battlefront 2. So I haven't got that time, but it is only £25. It is a bargain, and it is definitely worth buying cheap if you've got that time. Anyway, that's enough from me. Put your questions and comments down below. What do you think about Battlefront 2? Have you got it already? Are you thinking about buying it? If you enjoyed the video, hit like if you want to see more of the same. Press subscribe. Thanks again, and I will see you again soon.
Deploy additional forces to the west hangar.
Grenade out!
We have the hangars. Additional snowtroopers will join our strike force. Regroup and rearm for the final assault. Our mission is to ground the enemy transports by cutting off their fuel supply. Bomb the fueling stations, pipes, and depot. When that is done, the rebels will be trapped on Hoth. We will be victorious. Fuel pipe set to blow!
Grenade ready!
Explosives online! Enemy resecuring the pipes!
Let's hunt some rebels.
Fueling station rigged to explode!
Rebel commander on the battlefield. Focus! Grenade out!
Countdown aborted! They retook the fueling station! Ready.
Countdown nearing 0. Detonating the pipes shortly.
Grenade out! Where are they hiding? I'm ready. Explosive set at the depot!
Scanning target!
Yes, grenade deployed!
Reinforcements to the depot. Make sure those charges trigger.
Specialized combatants deployed to assist. Some hotshot is deploying to assist. Don't know who. Depot rigged to blow.
Let's hope the cold doesn't cause a malfunction.
What's the plan?
Protect the depot. The rebels must not disarm the bomb.
Starting elimination sweep.
We're too late to do any good. The rebel fleet is fueled. Our mission has failed.